All right, still with me, former defense attorney and former prosecutor Marie Pereira, as well as criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor David Bruno. Marie, let me ask you, when I read this story, the first thing that came to my mind was, why isn't this girl being charged with attempted murder? It was clear she left the child out there for a reason. The child clearly would have difficulty surviving under those circumstances. Then she lied to police.
You know, they may upgrade the charges. I actually represented someone. Her name was Shirley Eckersley back in the 2000s, who gave birth to a baby at home. She thought she was having a bowel movement. Baby came out. She took the baby and dumped it in a incinerator in her building. Then she went to the emergency room and they told her, your uterus says you had a baby. It wasn't just a stomach ache or some hemorrhaging. It happens. It's a condition called cryptic pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant and doesn't realize it. It happens in about 1 in 2,500 pregnancies. And you're right. To me, it's okay that you may have a condition where you didn't know, but it rises to the level of criminality where you give birth to a living human being and you abandon that baby. That may upgrade the charges. That may give the investigators and the DA cause for that. I wouldn't be surprised if they upgraded the charges. But it is a condition called cryptic pregnancy. I've seen it happen, and I had, like I said, a client just like that. We ended up pleading it out to manslaughter, and she got, I think, maybe 6 years.
Interesting
After
stuff.
I did a psychological mitigation type defense. We didn't go to trial. She pled guilty because they deemed her psychologically, mentally ill and contributed that to her actions on that day.
Interesting. All right, David Bruno, I'd love to get you to ring in on this. Do you think the facts of this case support perhaps an attempted murder charge?
Well, look, in my history as a prosecutor, one of my L's was a hung jury on an attempted murder case, and that was a stabbing where somebody took a knife to somebody's stomach multiple times. And believe it or not, Michael, it's one of the most hardest crimes to prove as a prosecutor, because the attempted murder requires that conscious purpose to kill. And when we talk about mental health, I would imagine that there's probably a psychiatric mitigation defense or defense here in this case too. She makes an inconsistent statement on scene, talking about how she didn't know she gave birth, but at the same time talking about, well, what do you do when a plane goes down? You save yourself first. Those two things are inconsistent. And yeah, I think she's lucky that she's not facing a murder charge or a manslaughter charge, because more time out there in that 15-degree temperature, that baby probably would have died. So lucky for that baby. Hopefully she gets the services that she needs, both the baby and mom, and our criminal justice system will prosecute this case for sure.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Great information from both of you. Truly appreciate it. We'll have to see how this one plays out, whether the charges are upgraded at some point or not. Stand by. We do have to take a